Hi, I'm with Ted Grant, no doubt one of Canada's most experienced bush pilot, the founder of Simpson Air. We're up in the Nahanni region for a quick weekend visit, and so delighted to meet you and hear about all your expeditions and the history. I would almost call you a modern-day Max Ward from Max's origins and his beginnings.
I've known Max for a long time. A great pilot, that's for sure. Yeah.
What was it about the early days of the bush pilot flying that made him and you what you are today? What is it?
I guess you could say he was an early explorer, and you had to find your way the hard way to get up and see the country and the terrain that you're flying over, whereas today's flying is you just press a button and let the airplane go and it follows a path, and you don't even have to look out the window hardly.
No, but not so much for you guys up here still. I mean,
Yeah.
what are the particular the confluence of elements from weather to terrain that make this such a challenge for bush pilots?
Well, just take the Northwest Territories by itself, for example. It's twice the size of Saskatchewan and Alberta, with only 42,000 people. So most of the area, there's very few people live in it, and it's all wild bush country. And then the mountains, some of the most majestic mountain country in the world, some of the roughest to fly in. So you have to have your wits about you when you're flying in most of the area.
Well, when you say roughest to fly in and wits about you, what does that mean? What do you, as a pilot, what is it you're confronted by?
Changing in weather, good maintenance on your airplanes. You want to make sure your airplanes are working good, engines are working good, because if you have a problem, you're a long ways from anywhere, you're a long ways from help. You got to be able to look after yourself if you do have a problem as well.
I've heard the rumor the bush pilot isn't a bush pilot until he's slept 10 days with quarts of oil.
Oh yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, I've had a few experiences. I had 7 engine failures in the last 40-some years of flying, so sometimes I've had to sit out in the bush and wait for a while till somebody came and got me, or till we got the airplane fixed.
No, but what does it mean about sleeping with the oil? Is it something you've got to drain your engines?
Oh, you used to drain the engines, the old round engines, like for beavers and otters, Norsemen, etc. If you were out in the real cold weather, it was best to drain the oil out of it and keep the oil in your tent, keep it warm, so then it's much easier to start the engine the next day if you've got warm oil.
Yeah. Tell us about the Nahanni. What does it look like in the canyons? We didn't get a chance to see it, but give us your best description.
Yeah, that's too bad you didn't get to see it because of the weather. And unfortunately, we get the odd day of weather like that in the year. The Nahanni is like going to see 6 other national parks in North America. It's like going to Yosemite, the Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, Banff, Jasper, the Columbia ice fields, and Niagara Falls all in one. Except there's no people out there.
Yeah, I guess that's really the spiritual difference, is when you get down on that river.
When we take our guests out there, whether to Virginia Falls and Glacier Lake, and then to Little Doctor Lake after our final stop before getting back to Fort Simpson, the people have the place all to themselves when they're out there. So that's something special, whereas if you're in Banff or Yosemite or Niagara Falls, there's always going to be another 1,000 or 2,000 people standing beside you taking the same picture, but not in the Nahanni.
Yeah, but you've seen 1,000, 2,000, or 10,000 more come out of there after you've shown them the area. What is the most prevailing reaction that you notice, either silently or otherwise, when people come up?
Just about everyone said it's the most majestic scenery they've seen anywhere in the world, because the scenery changes from bush landscape to canyons that are as deep as the Grand Canyon, to high rock spires that looks like Yosemite or Switzerland, and then the waterfalls that are twice the height of Niagara Falls. It's majestic.
Is there a way you can describe the power of those falls?
Well, when you're standing close to the falls, you can't hear anything else but the falls. That's all you hear.
It's just loud.
It's very loud, and I've been there over 2,000, probably 2,500 times at least to Virginia Falls, and I still appreciate it.
Well, I was just going to ask, is there any way that you can ever get complacent about flying through those canyons, because no one's probably done it more than you?
Oh, you never want to get complacent. I always have a place to land if I have to in a worst case scenario, but I still enjoy it. I still find something new. Out in that area, say between First Canyon and the Nahanni Plateau and the Ram Plateau, inside that triangle, there's probably 1,000 caves that have never been explored yet. And when I'm flying, or if I take a different route, I'll find a new cave just about every time I fly through there.
Well, you say you look for a place to land. Where would you land? Is it all water? I mean,
Well, when I'm on floats on the river, of course, there's a few little lakes out there we can land on, but on the river we can land most places, except right below the falls is a little rough. And but you always want to have an out. You always want to have a spot where you can get in and land safely and tie up.
and the people who are living there, tell me about them, the tribes.
There's the one local band at Nahanni Bush. That's the closest to the park, and some of the local fellows there, they do still go out and do some hunting in the park, which they're allowed to do. They hunt for moose and caribou and Dall sheep.
But they never leave. They're there. That's...
No, they live right by the park. They're year round.
And the international response to the Northwest Territories, China, Japan is another new market or a big market, or
Yeah, most of our foreign tourists we get are from Germany, and we're getting quite a few from Japan for the Aurora market to see the Northern Lights. But mostly they go to Yellowknife. But I think our future market is going to be the Chinese, because they are very adventurous people, and there's more and more traveling every year. Millions more traveling every year.
and they want to see the natural beauty of Canada.
They want to see the beauty of Canada, and they know that Canada's a safe place for them to travel.
And speaking of Canadians, I mean, are very many you finding Northwest Territories as a destination of choice?
Probably half of our tourists that would get into the Nahanni Park are from Canada to start with, so that's half of our business is Canadians, and then the rest is made up of Europeans and some Americans and Japanese, etc.
But in terms of the number of people who actually come into Nahanni, my understanding is not many relatively. I don't know, 700, 800 a year visit the park?
Yeah, I think the most we've ever had was about 1,400 back around 1991, 92. And most of the times is around 900 people going in there. Yeah. And about half of those do canoeing and rafting trips, and the other half are the day tour people that we take in on just a fly-in day tour to see the falls and Glacier Lake.
And the mining industry, how much are they flying in here, and what kind of activities?
Well, we do have one a mine in the area, but right near the Yukon border, a mine that's ongoing, tungsten mine. And then we have the potential mine that should start up within about a year at Prairie Creek, 115 miles from here. It's surrounded by the Nahanni National Park. It's a lead, zinc, silver mine, but it will bring a lot of business to our region and provide a lot of jobs for a lot of young people in our region. So it can work hand in hand with our Nahanni National Park, and it's certainly going to help our region.
A quick story about how you started Simpson Air back in '72?
Oh, I bought Simpson Air in April 1981. But just to make a long story short, originally I came from a little farm in Manitoba, and our neighbors about 2 miles away had a little two-seater airplane. They wouldn't let me near it, so I always wanted to fly. So when I joined the RCMP in 1967, and then I was stationed in Saskatchewan, and in 1975 I bought my own airplane, a little Stinson, four-seater Stinson. It had wheels, skis, and floats. In the following year I transferred here to Fort Simpson for just a few months before I was transferred to Grise Fiord. But while I was here, an old trapper prospector and pilot by the name of Dick Turner phoned me up one evening, and his words were, he says, "You don't know me, but my name's Dick Turner." He says, "I see you have a little float plane parked down in front of the RCMP office on the river." He says, "I'm going out into the Nahanni National Park tomorrow morning, and if you want to go along, I'll save the front seat for you." So I changed my shift with the sergeant. He said, "Go ahead," and I went out and flew out to see the Nahanni National Park. Spent the day out there, was fascinated with it. And then when the Simpson Air came up for sale in April 1981, I quit the RCMP and bought Simpson Air.
And
I'm still here, yeah.
And you're still flying?
Still flying. Could have been well retired in the RCMP a long time ago, but I'm still flying. I'll be 65 in another few months, so another 20 more years and then I'll retire.
Good to meet you.